Word, son. What do you do, YouTube? It's your boy Jay Divine. Alright, before we get into this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, man. So, with the Super Bowl 57 thing, all it's over, man. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Eagles by 38-35. I'm healed enough to finally talk about it, so make sure to sit back, chill, take a pee break, pause the video, get you some popcorn, because you know how I do. But yeah, I was watching the game from start to finish, including the halftime show, which halftime show was cool. I felt like the one they did last year, that was like the best halftime show that they could ever did. But hey, you know, it's Rihanna, so you know, yeah, I was getting my little, you know what I'm saying. But as far as the game goes, man, like the first half was cool. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts really showcased who he is. And if y'all didn't respect Jalen Hurts then, y'all better show that man some respect now. And don't be an asshole and be one of those guys to be like, oh, well, he lost. He didn't win the chip, so why should I respect him? Shut up. All right? And second of all, if your team was on the couch before the Eagles, no, not before. If your team was on the couch when the Eagles was in the Super Bowl, shut up. All right? Shut up. Now with all the trolling, I don't give a fuck about no damn trolling. I don't care. You know, I had some people that was on Twitter and they were saying, "Oh, cry Eagles, cry LMFL, cry about it, yada yada." I don't care. Okay, I really honestly I don't care. Now, back to the game. You know, we were doing well. I feel like we could have ran the ball a little more. You know what I'm saying? Passes and. He made some good passes. So there was some questionable ones that he snuck in there, but you know, Goddard, you know, or Godare, whatever they call him, Dallas Goddard was holding it down. You know, I mean, he was doing his thing. He was very efficient whenever we threw him the ball. I felt like we should have ran the ball a lot more. Should have got Miles Sanders the ball some more. But hey, when we did touch the ball, there were times when we had a break, and I really thought we did very, very well at that. But the defense, man, the defense was just very, very questionable. I don't know why we kept running man so much. Like, I really feel like we should have ran some zone. Like, I'm not understanding why, with the caliber of players that we have, like, why are we always running not zone? Why are we always running man? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sit here and say that, oh, these guys aren't good at man, but I feel like it would have been more beneficial to run zone. Like, that's how I always felt like, because I feel like when you run man, you're going to get cooked more times than none. You know what I mean? If not necessarily get cooked, you're gonna have like a step and a half away from your opponent at all times. At least that's what it felt like playing against KC. So I felt like we should have ran zone a lot more. And this kind of shows remnants of Super Bowl 52. Now, the only thing in Super Bowl 52, I think the personnel we had was a little bit better. And then even then, I saw a whole lot of cover one that a lot of the Eagles were running on defense in 52. But you know, 57, I don't know what we was doing, man. I don't know what the coordinator on defense was thinking about. I don't know what he was doing. There was no adjustments. You know, Slay was a non-factor in there. You know what I'm saying? We had people stepping up here and there, but, you know, Slay wasn't that game changer in the back there like he was in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, aside from that and, you know, just the gameplay all around, I think one thing I do want to say is the officiating was terrible. The officiating was just god-awful. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we could fast forward to the end, the second half. The second half, the defense didn't just show up at all. You know what I mean? They was running a whole lot of, like, I don't want to call them dink and dunk plays, but like very, very RPO like plays. You know what I'm saying? Very much, you know, just quick hit plays, and we were just getting killed with them every single time. And it opened up every single time for to get like a medium sized gain. Almost every single sequence that they had that included RPO like play, it was opening them up for a medium gain every single time. But aside from that, man, like, there should have been a lot more holding calls being called. There should have been a lot more penalties being called, except for, you know, now so we get to the end, and now this is a pivotal point in the game, and then now you want to call a holding call against Bradbury. You know what I'm saying? Like, now let's talk about that for a second. So, yeah, Bradbury held him. All right. Now, I understand that a player has 5 yards. He is within 5 yards to jam or establish contact, but I'm sure that he can't hold him. I'm pretty positive that it means that you can't hold him. You can jam him up, do whatever you want to do within 5 yards. After that, you got to let it ride. Now, will I say that it was something that would hinder Juju Smith from running? Like, oh yeah, you grabbed this jersey, but I don't think that's enough, like, to be able to stop him from running how he wants to. Like, them jerseys are pretty damn flexible. But let's just go with what people are saying that now. Oh, well, okay, yeah, he grabbed his jersey. That's considered a holding. Okay. But they said that was a great call. Okay. But what about the one that when Juju was coming across the middle, he was held then? Same exact way. Why didn't y'all call that then? Answer the question. Why didn't he not call that then? You see what I'm saying? So because they didn't call that then, that right there was the perfect time to redeem that call. And then on top of that, call this one right here. No, if you're going to call penalties, call them straight up. I don't care if each team has 10 penalties apiece. I don't care. If you're going to call it, call it. Don't sit here and just pick and choose when to call it. And then when you call it, it could dictate the outcome of the game. It could determine the outcome of the game. Don't do that. Literally, all you have to do is call the penalties. That's why when it comes down to the Eagles losing 57, I'm not even tripping over the defense and this and that. I'm not tripping over that. I'm tripping over mostly how the hell do you not call penalties straight up until now we get towards the end. Now you want to start calling penalties. That don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it's almost like in Madden, right? You know that you got beat based off of a bullshit penalty. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's nothing you can do about it because they haven't been calling them all game. They haven't been calling penalties all game. Now, the one time that they do call a penalty is now something that's a pivotal point in the game. And now all of a sudden, you just took that loss. And now you have to sit there and eat that because there's nothing you can do. And then mind you, the penalties in Madden, they're very animation based. So there's nothing you can do about it once it queues up because it's undoubtedly a penalty. You know what I mean? Now back to Bradbury. Okay, if you held him, cool. But at that point, you should just let him play straight up. Let him play. You got to let him play because this is a very crucial moment. This is a very crucial moment. They are tied up right now. They are tied up. So it's like, okay, we either let it rock or we call the penalties. But no, let them rock because that right there literally just changed the whole entire gameplay right there. I feel like it could have been a lot different. Now, I'm not saying that. You know, I'm not disregarding when Jalen dropped the ball, he fumbled. I'm not disregarding that. You know what I'm saying? There were some calls that if they didn't overturn them, like whenever they threw that flat to the running back and they came down and they hit him and then they swore up and down that was a fumble. That could have been another touchdown, but they overturned it. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of things in this game that literally could have made the game different if they didn't overturn that, if they didn't call that penalty. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of things that could have happened. And I would have been cool with that if the penalty wasn't what caused them to lose, like ultimately, because you have to look at it. The penalty is what caused them ultimately to lose. You could say the defense, but at the same time, they didn't have a chance Jalen didn't have a chance to go back on offense and try to at least do something down there. He didn't have a chance to do that. That man played his ass off. You know what I'm saying? He went, drove down the field, got the touchdown, and muscled his way in there for 2. He did his part. But I'm pretty sure he sat down on the sideline with, okay, we're going to get this ball one more time, and this time we're going to put up a drive to get down here. But now all those plans are foiled because now all of a sudden the refs want to start calling penalties. You know what I'm saying? So that's what ultimately ended the game. Yes, the defense was shitty. I know that. Yes, the defense was shaky. But at the same time, what ultimately caused them to lose was the penalty that should have never been called. You know what I'm saying? Like it should have never been called. You got people that are saying that, yeah, that's whack. They should have never called that because given the circumstance as to what the game was at the time, penalties shouldn't even been flying back then. There was a lot of holding calls that could have been called for either team. Either team. When Pat Mahomes was getting free like he was, they should have literally been calling holding. There's instances in that game where they were holding, but it was never called. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you call the penalties or don't call them at all. But if you call them all. Call them straight up. You know what I'm saying? If that penalty would have never changed, if that penalty would have never been called and it would have been a different outcome and the Philly still lost, I'd have been fine with it. Then we'd be talking about something totally different. But no, penalties is literally what the bad officiating is what ended up losing the game for the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like I said, defense could have been worked on, but that's not what ultimately led to them losing. It's the refs, man. It's the officiating. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Not gonna lie, that right there, like I would have easily said like that was like a good game because it really was. But with that bad officiating, that made it kind of like a little bit sour for me because I just couldn't be like, yeah, good game. No, I felt like that was bullshit. Like that was like bullshit, and I didn't feel no different. I didn't feel no different about it after I said that. Like, I really thought that was a bullshit call. Like, y'all should let that ride. Oh, but he was holding. It don't matter. They've been doing that shit the entire game. Now you want to call it now? Come on, dog. Either call it or don't call it at all. But yeah, man. That's how I feel about the whole situation. My 57, man. I still feel like the Eagles could have won that, if we had a chance. But even if they had the chance and they still didn't win it, it is what it is. But that penalty literally just like solidified KC winning that altogether. So it is what it is, man. Maybe next year, I guess. But I don't even know if I'm gonna be watching football next year because that right there is literally what kind of killed it for me right there. So let me know what you think in the conversation down below, man. I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Devon, and I'm signing out. Peace.